2007, 2008 tennis year, we had a senior on our team, and her name was Ashley Umscheid, and we were freshmen that year, and so we were coming into it brand new and kind of nervous about everything, but she was always there, and was always there with a smile, and always had kind words to say to us, and never put us down, and always told us that we could do anything if we just put our mind to it.
She was a very loving person. She loved laughing. She loved her family.
Well, Ashley was just a sweet little girl. We always enjoyed having her at our house. And
she just enjoyed talking to you and wanted to get to know you, and she always shared her own experiences too.
We had a lot of the same things in common. We both bowling and softball and church activities and things like that, but it was always like I was looking at a younger version of myself, because she was always just, after I had already done something, she was right there behind me wanting to do it too.
If you needed to call her on the weekend to talk about anything, even if it wasn't tennis related, she was like your big sister. She was always there.
I've got many notes from her that tell me how much she loved me and how much she was always wanting to care for me, and she was sorry when she made me angry, and she just, she learned a lot about life in her young age.
She wanted to help other people. She was a helper, and when I would have her play with someone in doubles, that's usually how they played their first match. She was always so wonderful with them.
She just stood out. She had this bright personality, and her smile could light up a room. And
she got older, and I went off to college. We actually really started to become friends, told secrets, and able to talk, and we text all day long. That's what we did, all day long.
She was a very smart girl. She was a 4.0. She was National Honor Society. Well, in December of her senior year, she said, "Mom, my dream has always been to go to K-State because of my family." So, okay, Ashley, it's a little late to be telling me this now, but we'll see what we can do.
Her life was just coming full swing. She was finding out who she was and what she wanted to be in life.
And she was very happy at K-State. She finally, in the second semester, found Amy and Julie, her best friends, and she was truly, really happy. She says, "Mom, for the first time in my life, I'm country." She says, when we were living in Blue Springs and Grain Valley, I always had to be city. And she says, that wasn't me. I didn't fit in there, but she says, I found my spot now.
She decided that she wanted a pair of boots, and so we drove over to Wamego, which is about 20 minutes from here, and I helped her pick out a pair of boots.
We all three scrunched in her little white Ford Ranger, and we drove over to Wamego so she could get her pink pair of cowboy boots.
She'd wear tall socks, short socks, as long as they're crazy, that was her.
I don't know, we would be in the hallway at Walmart, driving.
It would be 1 o'clock in the morning, and she would be singing at the top of her lungs as she went down the hallway.
And we were actually becoming best friends, and I'd actually given into the fact that someday when I do get married, she was going to be my matron of honor. She started the conversation saying, "I can't believe it's already been 9 years. I replied, "I know, I just thought about that like 4 minutes ago." To which she said, "It's so crazy, doesn't seem possible." I just said, "I know." And then she asked me if I was coming up tomorrow, referring to a family reunion we were having. And I just sent back, "Yeah." And she had responded, "K," but I never received it.
As the vehicle traveled westbound on K-18 in the left lane, the driver's side tires dropped off the roadway into the median. The vehicle continued for a short distance before attempting an evasive maneuver to get back onto the roadway. The vehicle re-entered the roadway, and as the tires regained traction, the vehicle began to roll. As the vehicle came tumbling through this area right here, the vehicle left these 2 gouge marks in the roadway from the wheels of the vehicle. That gives you an idea of how hard of an impact the crash was. The vehicle then continued rolling off the roadway into the ditch back here. The vehicle came to rest in the ditch upside down, facing to the south. The driver of the vehicle came to rest as well, laying in the ditch.
That morning, it was just a regular Saturday morning in May. And I was in Kansas City, and she had just finished her freshman year at K-State, so she had moved back home the night before.
She had spent the night with me the night before, and we just kind of went to Onega and had supper out.
And I had just gotten up and actually went to a few garage sales, and her and I had just started texting back and forth, just kind of having small talk.
I was on the engine that day. We got a call sometime after lunch for a vehicle accident with possible entrapment. So I got off the truck, and the other two on the truck went up and started patient care. And when we pulled up, we could see that there's a crowd of people standing around somebody on the ground over there. So we figured that somebody probably got ejected from the vehicle. And I saw her belt buckle, and she had the other pink boot on, I believe, and saw just I could see the white part of the pickup down there, and I knew who it was. And I kind of flipped out, I guess. I kind of went from being a firefighter EMT to a family then, I guess.
Got a phone call from my son Brian, and I knew he was at work as a firefighter there in Manhattan, and I wasn't expecting a phone call because he never calls while he's on shift unless there's something important. And as soon as he called, I knew by the tone of his voice something had happened, because his excitement was definitely showing through on the phone call. And he said, "Dad, Ashley's been in an accident. She's hurt pretty bad, and I can't get a hold of Kay." And I said, "Well, I've got her number. I'll get a hold of her."
We got down there, and in the meantime, I had to call Mandy and tell her that I'd gotten the call from Terry. And she says, "No, Mom, I just talked to her." And I says, "What do you mean?" She says, "We were texting about what today was with Daddy's anniversary of his death." And I says, "Well, she's had an accident and it doesn't look good."
I had just talked to her a little while ago, and I didn't believe it.
They'd been able to check her out, and that they knew she had a ruptured spleen, and they were going to have to repair that because she had internal bleeding and she had brain damage. I remember seeing a nurse at her head with the ambu bag breathing for her, and I didn't think at the time, but I should have known at that time that she was basically already gone.
And they came back in, and they were both sobbing and in tears, and they just said, "She's brain dead. She's gone."
I just wanted her to wake up.
We were kind of all shocked, and to find out how it happened because of texting, it hurt, because it's so distracting, and just to think if maybe she wouldn't have picked up her phone, if she'd still be here.
The hole that's there is tremendous.
It's the worst. It's the worst thing to ever happen to a person, is to lose their best friend.
I realize now that your best friend is supposed to speak at your wedding and not speak at your funeral. Ashley was supposed to live with us. In fact, she was supposed to be right down the hall from me. And here's just some pictures of her that remind us of the good times.
This is her kind of starting to come out as being country, where she loved to be. So.
And right in through here, well, this is my room, and that was the room that Ashley was supposed to have.
We do have our good times and our laughs, but there's always that hole, the big emptiness. But I also know that you wouldn't want us to feel that way either.
Your heart just falls apart, and you feel just really empty. I
mean, there are a lot of days that it's hard to handle. It's hard. It's just a nightmare.
That's the one thing that I believe that she died for, was so that other people would realize how deadly it is to text and drive, and even talk on your cell phone while you're driving. That's one of the reasons why we're getting the word out to people and reliving this each day, is so that other families don't go through this. There's no message out there that's important enough to lose your life over. Pull off to the side of the road if you really have to make a call or to talk, but don't put your family through what we've gone through. You don't know how much it affects your family or how that one text can have such a negative impact.
Traveling 65 miles an hour in a little over 3 seconds time, you'll travel the distance of a football field. And if you're distracted in the vehicle by your phone or any other device in your vehicle, in that amount of time that it takes to make adjustments and send a text, you will travel well over the distance of a football field. And an average text message, I don't know how long it takes, maybe 6 seconds, that's 2 football fields that your vehicle will travel at 65 miles an hour.
Put your phone in your purse or somewhere where you're not going to pick it up, you're not tempted to, because that can change your life and many, many other people forever.
Turn it on silent, turn it over so you can't see it light up, then you won't ever know it went off. You won't ever know until you get to where you're going.
It is that important. I'm sure it can wait. Your life is way, way more important than any phone call you were about to receive.
It's a shame that she had to go like that.
One small mistake not only changed her life, but it's something that we all have to live with.
Kids don't realize what one little text can do, what a drastic impact it can have. She goes from being a beautiful, vibrant 19-year-old girl to not having any life left.